Welcome back, everybody. Today I wanted to start a new series called Story Time with Josh. A lot of the content that I've tried to make and have decided the channel should be about is really hard for me to do on a stay-at-home dad's schedule. I can't plan around finding wildlife. You can stumble upon it, but you're not always ready to do a thing. It doesn't always go into a bigger narrative for a video that you have an idea about. So instead, what I'm going to do here in this video, there's no video of other animals or things. It's just me talking. So that's not what you care about. That's fine. I get it. But I'm going to be telling you some stories about things I've experienced in the past, encounters I've had. No hyperbole. Everything is legit. I will try to be as honest as my memory, can handle. Some of these stories are 20 years old or more. But I just thought it'd be a fun way to introduce you to some of the highlights of wildlife and things that I've experienced over the years that other people have really enjoyed hearing those stories and asked me to retell it or laugh or whatever. But to start with, we're going to do a couple stories around tarantulas from back when I was in college. The first one, I started a program at Erskine with a couple friends called Bio Outreach. Erskine's the college that I went to. This was 20 years ago or more. And what we would do is we would put on PowerPoint presentations for elementary or middle school classes, and we had a wildlife room in the biology department, and we could bring snakes or various insects or big lizards or what have you, and do presentations, let the kids touch them. And if the teachers were learning about habitats, or the teachers were teaching about habitats or metamorphosis or whatever, they would let us know, and we would kind of tailor the talk to whatever they wanted. And as we kept going, we had a big library of these talks built up, and we could just pull one and do it whenever we needed to. And it was a fun way for us to get paid. We made half of what we made. We charged, I think, $50 to go do an hour talk, and half went to the biology room to pay for food for the animals and things, and then we made the other 25 for gas money and stuff, which as a college kid 20 years ago, I was $25 was a lot of money for an hour. And we we would bring other people with us to teach them how to do these talks as well. We'd have a shadow. You never went just by yourself. And one time, after I'd gotten a little bit too comfortable, as you do, I was giving a talk, and I got the tarantula out, and we kept the tarantula in a little Tupperware bowl. It was clear, circular, and just so you could kind of sit it on the table and the kids could see it moving and stuff. And we wouldn't hand it around because we were scared they would, shake it up or whatever, hurt the spider. But I was giving my spiel. It's like, oh, they're more afraid of you than you are of them. This particular tarantula, I believe it was either a pink toad or a flame need. I can't remember. Like I said, it's been a while. But not the biggest of spiders. It's probably a little smaller than my hand, but still pretty big. And one of the kids, it won't kill you, it's like a bee sting. And one of the kids goes, oh yeah? Well, why don't you hold it then? And all the kids go, ooh, the double dog dare kind of thing from elementary school. And, there's probably 3 or 4 classrooms worth of kids. We were in the library for this particular talk. It wasn't just in one class. And I kind of looked over at the girl who was there with me, and she was like, kind of shrugged at me like, well, so I could either take the tarantula out, hold it, show these kids, or I could not do that, and they could refuse to believe anything I had told them up to this point. So of course, I decide to take the tarantula out. So I'm popping the lid real slow, and I'm telling all the kids, all right, they're scared of vibration. If anyone starts yelling because the vibrations in the air come out, they've got all these hairs on their abdomen and their legs that are very sensitive. And I said, if one of y'all starts screaming, going on you. And I'm looking at the teachers, and they're just like, yeah, whatever. But all the kids kind of lean back a little bit and get real quiet. They could tell, I wasn't the most comfortable doing this, but I was going to do it. And everyone's secretly hoping I'm going to get bit. You can just feel it, especially from the boys. But anyway, scoop him out, get him onto my hand. He just kind of chills, sitting there looking around, no moving, and I'm kind of holding her off to the side. I don't want to be like talking right on top of her, you know what I mean? So she's over here, I'm kind of panning, doing my talk like this, and as I'm doing that, she gets more comfortable, and she starts kind of drifting down, exploring, getting a little more comfortable, down the arm, up the shoulder, and all the kids, like, no one's taking a breath at this point for like 30 seconds. I'm positive. And, you know, I'm having to just keep doing my spiel, like 8 eyes, yeah. They like ambushing, yeah, all these things. And she comes up and goes behind my back and sits right between my shoulder blades. And her two, they have these things called pedipalps, which are a couple of the, not actual legs, but anyway, they were just tickling the back right above the collar of my shirt on my back, and I'm just trying to stay as calm as I possibly can. And I finish my spiel, get to the next part to transition over to like, give me that snake. And I kind of look at the girl helping me, and she comes over and gets the lid and the cup, kind of coaxes it back in to the container. No one was hurt, no one was bit. There was no aggression shown by the spider. And but what was cool that came out of that talk is I became more confident because of this double dog dare. And the next time I went and did the talk, I did the same thing. I started handling her more at the school so she would be even more comfortable with it. And I've got another story I'll tell you later on about a very scary lizard I did a similar thing with. But it was just it was a neat turning point for me. I learned something. I was able to teach that to the girl who was with me. The kids got, you know, a more hands-on. They didn't really get to touch it, but you know what I mean? They got to see someone practice what they were preaching. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. I don't typically just go grab anything. Like, and when I was much younger, I would, you know, I would go catch a lot of things. But, you know, these days I've learned I would much rather observe passively. And that's what I try to teach my kids. And I think that's just a better way to be when it comes to wildlife. The other story I'll tell real quick. We went, me and some friends went on a college trip down to Costa Rica, and it was a school-sponsored trip. And one night we were leaving dinner, going up to our rooms, these little bungalow things up the hill, and we had these covered walkways because it rains constantly. It's the rainforest. And we've got our headlights and flashlights and stuff, and we're walking up just looking in the leaves and up in the rafters of the walkway. And they were constructed out of the square metal pipes. You know, they would make the frame, and then they would lay the shingles or the metal roof or whatever on that. And at the bottom of one of these square tubes, I could see something that looked a little bit like that. And there we go. So I just saw this hanging out of one of those pipes. And I got a little closer, and it was two fuzzy little feet. And it was a tarantula. And I told my buddy Jason, who was with me, I was like, whoa, wait. Let's see what we can do here. So we're in the Costa Rican rainforest, you know, trees everywhere. So I'm going to find a stick to just touch it, because I know what it's doing. It's in an ambush predator position, ready to grab a moth or some other bug that comes by. And I wanted to get it to come out so I could see it. So in this rainforest, with all the wood you would ever want to find, I found a stick about that big. I should have, in hindsight, yes, mistakes were made. Anyway, I take this like 5-inch stick, and I climb up on the railing, holding on, and I reach up, you know, to touch it. And as I reach up and I just touch that front leg, that spider that I thought was a reasonable size tarantula turned out to be a monster sized tarantula. It comes out, grabs my whole hand. You know, I'm like 4 feet off the ground or whatever, standing on these rails, and it realized immediately that it didn't want any part of me, and I realized immediately I didn't want any part of it. So it let go. It never bit me, but we shook hands, so to speak. It jumps back up, runs in its tunnel, and I flail and fall back on my butt. And my friend's like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Did it bite you?" Like, "Oh, we're gonna have to go to the hospital." And I don't know if it's bit me or not at this point either. It's just shock. So I'm looking, nothing. And learned a lesson that day. And the lesson is to always get a bigger stick. That's all I've got for you today. If you enjoyed this, please leave a comment. If you have certain types of animals you would like to hear stories or see if I have stories about, or what, maybe you have a fun story that you want to tell briefly in the comments below, feel free. And until next time, y'all be looking.